Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tronage, and today we're gonna be talking about a pink frame, Unicorn Motors. Someone knows what I want. Stay tuned. Alright, so I've been doing a lot of NewBeeDrone, Acro Whoop, Tiny Whoop, Micro Drone, whatever you want to call it. I've kind of gotten into a little happiness with them. All sparked by going to a Tiny Whoop race at the Liberty Science Center here in New Jersey. And going to that event got me pumped up for these micro quads. They're just so much fun. I can't get enough of them. They're like potato chips. You can't just eat one. I want to have the unicorniest, rainbowiest, and the fact that we now have pink cockroach frames and we got unicorn motors that are just all rainbowed up and everything. I mean, these things are, from what they sound, ridiculous. So we're gonna give them a try. I mean, these things, all right, so it's gonna be a little bit of review, and I'm gonna tell you, I haven't used them before, so we're gonna try them out. So that's the whole purpose of this video, is really to review these motors. The frame is the frame, it's just a different color. That's cool, awesome. The NewBeeDrone stack for the Acrobee, you know, with the OSD and the camera and all that, we've already talked about that, we've already reviewed it, don't have to go into that. These motors, let's talk about these motors for a second. These motors are $20. $20 for 4 motors. That's $5 each for a brushed motor that will burn itself out after probably, it's rated, I think, 4 to 5 hours of flight time, and then it's done, garbage. We'll see if it really holds up to its hype and if it's really that awesome, and if maybe flying these type of motors, you can even take these Tiny Whoops outdoors in a slight breeze maybe. I'm gonna go through the entire build process. I'm gonna open everything up right here. We're gonna build it for you live, put it together. We'll do all kinds of fun stuff, and then we'll take it for a real, you know, stretch its legs and see what it's really got. All right, so come on in. All right, so we got our motors, we got our full-on stack, and we got our frame to put it in. But bam, let's open up a frame first. Now, these motors, if I recall correctly, I believe we have to snip the little nubbin that's on the Cockroach frame. These are really cool once you get them out of the package, by the way. I mean, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but they are spectacular looking. They're just like rainbowed out of this world. Kind of like that effect that they can do by just getting all these rainbow colors on there. Anyway, yeah, for this to sit flush, that nub has to come out. Otherwise, it'll be sticking up in the air and our prop will not be in the duct properly. All right, so what I'm talking about is there's this little nub in a Cockroach frame. When you put a standard motor on it, it sits right on top of that little nub, so it doesn't come all the way down. But with these motors, you have to remove that nub because it will not fit otherwise. It'll be too tall, so. Out it comes. I'm just using my little X-Acto knife here to hack it away. All right, those spots are gone. Now let's put our stack together and put this in. One thing's got to be said, I love the packaging that NewBeeDrone does. It is like top-notch, high-quality packaging. Like, I don't know how they put the motors in these little boxes, but it's crazy. All right, so here we go. Looking pretty slick. So here's a little tip of how to get a little bit better reception, at least in my opinion. Your antenna should point upward, but it's difficult to get your antenna to point upward because it's such a little whisker of an antenna. But what you can do, if you know someone with braces, or you can find a friend who has braces, or just buy these online, these are those little rubber bands that you use for braces. And what I've found you do is you can wrap it around this top part of this camera like a little old headband. So if you hook the corner like this, and then you stretch it around it tight, it'll pop like behind it. What you want to do is just get the rubber band to go past. There we go. Okay. So now the rubber band's going straight across back here. You can see it coming across like that. That's how you want it to be. So you have this little headband. And then what you do is you go in here, you can separate these two halves just to make it easy. Okay. Take your antenna, which is this yellow part, pull it out just gently. You don't want to break anything. Just pull it to the side. And I like to hook it like that. And then you put this part back on top. And what you're going to do is this little whisker now, you bring it up so it's vertical. And you're going to tuck it in that little headband you put on your camera. And tweezers probably help a little bit here. Probably easier to do this once. There we go. Okay. And now, it's still safe as anything, but now it's more vertical. So therefore, when you start flying and you go into that pitch, you know, like normally this is level, let's say, as you're flying forward, it now becomes vertical. You get what I'm saying? We need our gummies. The other thing I love about NewBeeDrone, they give you extras of stuff. So like there's 5 gummies instead of 4. There's 5 screws instead of 4. And there's 5 of these deals that I don't really use much, but some people do. All right, now let's mount. Well, we gotta put our gummies on. Let's get our gummies going. Gotta get the gummies going. Going with the gums. Now we mount it into our frame. Just line up the pegs on our gummy, or pegs on the frame with the holes in our gummies. And slide it down. Okay, that's that. Put our screws in. I like to just get each one started a little bit. I don't like to really tighten them all until I get them all kind of started. This way it kind of levels itself a little bit. Because if you tighten, one thing to keep in mind is if you tighten one of these screws more than you tighten the other screws, being that it's on gummies, even if you put this quad on a level surface, you may make your flight controller not be so level. So it's always a good idea to tighten them equally as you go around. We're halfway there. We got our frame, and we got our stack in, and now let's get these fantastic motors in. Okay, so now when I put these motors in, I put mine in a reversed pattern, meaning this is the front of my quad, this is the back of my quad. Traditionally, the propellers would spin towards the front and towards the back. So this direction and this direction. But I fly mine in a reverse fashion, so this prop spins this way, and this one spins this way, so they spin to the sides. And I do that because that way it doesn't kick stuff into your lens when you're trying to fly. So when I install my motors, that's how I'm installing them. So if you're following along at home, you need to make sure you're also running them reversed. So the motors with the blue and red wires are the ones that are gonna go right here and here. So you just Slip the little plug into the hole, like so. And then you press your motor all the way in. There we go. Got it to go. Okay. And the other red and blue wire. And it's going to go here. Yeah, that one went in a lot easier. Okay. And then the other two motors are going to go to these two positions. So now we have our unicorn motors in place. And now we will plug in our connectors. Now, those little rings, you could put those down to tidy up these wires. Actually, you know, these wires are kind of just the right length. I might actually use those for a change. I think those might come in handy. All right, I'm gonna use them this time. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now we are technically built. All right, so now that we got our quad built, it just needs a couple more things to do. You need to go on to Betaflight, make sure you have it all configured properly, and you need to make sure that it's bound to your transmitter. There's a bunch of helpful videos on the NewBeeDrone website that shows you how to get it up and running, get it bound, get it hooked up and flying. So go check those videos out, how to actually configure it. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to like actually build one, and using these unicorn motors, I wanted to just show you it's a really simple process to building these and customizing them and stuff like that. So as far as props go, I chose to go with pink props. Why not? Matches the whole scheme of things. So we're gonna take it out, we're gonna go fly now, and we're gonna go see how these unicorn motors actually perform. So right now you're asking yourself probably two questions. One, Tronage, I thought we were gonna go watch some footage of the unicorn motors flying. And two, you got an Acrobee on your head. And you'd be correct on both accounts. And the reason is because I felt a little foolish, so I figured I'd look a little foolish. Why do I look foolish? Because I basically had an April Fool's Day fail. And I'm gonna take this off my head now so I don't drop it. My original plan was to then take this and strap it to one of my quads, full-sized ones, 5-inch prop size, and fly it around and try to make it like, oh my God, look how amazing these motors perform. And then later on reveal, oh, ha, 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 just kidding. And then show the real footage of how these motors perform. The reason why it was an epic fail was because they way performed better than I thought they would. To where you really can't tell the difference on the footage. Here's a little, before I show you any of the footage, let me just show you the little behind the scenes that I was gonna use as my reveal to show you how and what you're about to look at. So this way you know what you're seeing before you see it, so you're not even, I don't want to misrepresent anything. So here's the behind the scenes footage. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a behind the scenes on how we managed to pull that off, and it's quite simple, really. Okay, so we understand now. What I'm gonna show you now, and I'm gonna be very clear about it, is this Acrobee strapped to a Vendetta V2 flying around. Now I did try to make it believable, and I slowly took off, and I would try to hold back a little bit on my tricks to make it somewhat believable, but I wanted it to look somewhat Wow. Here's the fake, 100% fake footage. This is not this flying. This is the Vendetta flying with this strap to it. Okay? That's fake. I'm telling you that's 100% fake. But here's where it now gets really, really interesting. Okay? Now I'm going to show you real footage using these motors and only these motors with these 3-bladed props. It's this quad performing, and you can tell I'm doing split S's. I'm doing like real full-fledged power loops. Make no mistake, the footage you're going to see now from the DVR, that is 100% unfaked unicorn motors with this quad flying. Check it out. So I don't know how you feel about it, but seeing them kind of back to back kind of seem the same. Now, granted, the feel is not the same because there's a lot more responsiveness to the full-size quad faking it than there is actually flying the Acrobee with the Unicorn Motors, because you can't really compare them. They're not even on the same planet as far as comparisons go. But the experience that I had flying it was very similar. Like, everything I wanted it to do, it could do. I could do a split S. I could do a power loop. I could do big punch outs. I can do what I mean, and you can see there's this one part I go straight across and it's like screaming fast. Are the Unicorn Motors fast? Absolutely. Are the Unicorn Motors amazing? Yes, they are. Should you go get a pack? If you got $20 to spare, I would totally get a pack because it's an experience that you cannot believe. If you've been flying Acrobees, tiny whoops, micros, whatever you want to call this style of quad, and you haven't tried the Unicorn Motors yet, it's a treat. It's a sugar-coated, rainbow-filled, sweet and juicy treat. I hope you're as blown away by them as I am because the performance was amazing. I don't see myself having the skill to fly these indoor because I just do not have those Jedi reflexes yet where I can actually fly them at capacity. I mean, I could fly it at like probably 10% throttle around the room. It's just so nice to be able to carry this in your pocket practically, pop a battery into it and just fly around and not have to worry about anything and have all that power behind you with these Unicorn Motors. I mean, even like the HGLRC XJB, it's small, but I mean, this is like a quarter of the size of this, and it gave a ton of fun. So if fun is your factor that you're looking for, this is it. If you want to blow people away with how powerful this little itty bitty thing can be, Unicorn Motors are where it's at. Go pick up some of these if you want to check it out and you want to be blown away at what a Acrobee or a micro quad or a tiny whoop, what it's capable of, because holy moly. As always, my name is Tronage, and fly strong. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you really should subscribe. I'm always posting new content. If you'd like to help support the channel and get access to giveaways, raffles, and other exclusive benefits, consider joining the Tronage family on the Patreon page. Here's some videos that you might be interested in. This is the latest one that I posted, and this one I think you might just like. Go check them out.